Hello there.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Mm, okay, that's good. I should also I pop up the chat as well for to keep an eye on it because as I shared the link to like all the places. Yes, you can avatar Jonathan right now with the cute avatar because I'm at work, but I'm in Stockholm at work, so I can be here to like do this sort of thing while on the clock.
So you're like doing it like the way I would have done it if I was working at McDonald's, where I would just like throw some fries in the vat, then watch the screen as I cook the French fries.
Well, it's just like I'm in the stock room, and like I think I'm the only person in the plant, except for I haven't checked to see if there's other people at the plant, but like yeah, I got approval to be here on like Sunday, so it's just like, and I'm doing the stockroom thing, not an assembly, running the big place machine. So it's like, yeah, I can join if like this is what my work schedule is like on Sundays, where it's just like I'm just in the stockroom doing kidding. I can't join just Alchemy if I'm working as well too. So like, there's that. It's because yeah, I had a conversation. My manager had a conversation with me about how oh that's the wrong one. So let me get the correct one. And again, going to get the correct link to post it to like Twitter now, and there's that. And I did post the correct one. Yeah, on Facebook. Okay, post the correct one on yeah. All right. As so yeah, now I'm gonna work, and it sounds like I'm gonna be like working quite a bit on Sundays for like a production run ramping up, and so yeah, there's that. Okay.
I'm so
Hey,
sorry.
so yeah, go ahead. How is everyone?
I'm good. Well, I just got back from Tulsa.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I've never been to Oklahoma before, so that was pretty cool. And I got invited to go because I'm part of a Facebook group called Space Hipsters. I actually have a button here,
Nice.
and they invited me to come to Tulsa and see Mr. Fred Hayes.
Nice. Remind me who Fred Hayes is.
He was one he was one of the astronauts on Apollo 13.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
so if you've seen the movie, the Ron
Mhm.
Howard movie,
Yep.
he's the astronaut played by Bill Paxton. Paxton.
Ah,
No, that was Mattingly, that was Gary Sinise. This is the guy who uh I don't think yeah, I think so. He does get sick at the beginning. Yeah, and you know what else he did? He also flew the Enterprise, the Space Shuttle Enterprise.
oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, the test shuttle. I actually have an autograph of it if you want to
Nice. Yeah,
know.
yeah. If you want to like share it, show things, show us. Yeah, yeah. Show and tell. And also, hello, Jamie J. Hi, you're gay. Yeah, let's go for now. Or
So
okay.
okay, so here's here's an auto oh, now. Here's an autograph picture of Mr. Fred Hayes in front of the test shuttle Enterprise.
Nice.
And he signed it. So
That's really cool. Yeah.
All right. For some
I didn't
reason,
even
OBS decided to switch my microphone.
I didn't I was completely blown away that I'm a Star Trek fan obviously, but I did not know he flew the Enterprise. I wonder if he met William Shatner at like before.
Well, if he did,
Um,
then as a man, he probably didn't get harassed.
yeah, there's that.
But
Though.
as a human being, He was probably treated like shit if he did meet Shatner.
This maybe yeah screams press pisses harder that squishes. It's like Jamie, is there a medical condition that we should be aware of?
Or are you just a cat?
Okay, there's that too. And then again, also like you're probably just like a cat as well too. So no medical, and it's like not that we need to be aware of your medical conditions. Your medical conditions are your medical conditions. I don't know why I say it like that, or maybe it's like no. I should have phrased it as like, and jokingly, of course. It's like, is there something that we should be concerned with, like Jamie J? But no, you're just a cat. Okay, that makes sense. Welcome. It's glad to see you. It's glad to see you still alive and all.
But
So yeah.
how's everyone?
Working. Work yesterday and also like last week, so I had to like not stay up as late as I usually do. I did so last night because I was like playing golf with your friends with like my friend and streamer Necronomicon. But like now I was just like I gotta like get to bed at like 10 p.m. and try to like wake up early on most days, something like that. And because like last week my coworker that usually works with me in the stock room is on vacation in Hawaii, and like his first day in Hawaii was like Thursday. I did not know that he was vacationing to Hawaii until I showed up on Thursday and he wasn't there. He didn't told our manager that either, because like our manager did not approve of his vacation, so that's gonna be interesting. Fucking hell, it's the wrong like link I've been posting all over the place. It's gonna like change that. Okay, hold on. No wait, no. Then okay, no. I'm starting to have to like my post from like last time. Hello, Jack C. Exists while reading manga. I figure as much. Like Jack C. Also, you're inherently like a screaming about like magical girls things as you used to. And hello, David. I knew I would hate to do YouTube before I have ever seen it. Now I know of even more. Communication is difficult but important. Yeah, he's my coworker. I mean, it's like to me, I don't care because, like, honestly, it's like if it's just me in the stock room, it's been me in the stock room for the longest time, so I kind of got like used to it, and like, sure, I can like work extra hours, and that's good because then I can like use all the extra money I make working extra hours to support our friends, so I don't mind that as well too. But it's just kind of like all I care about is like, did you report to like do the proper thing and like say to like our manager is like hey can I get the vacation time in this time or something like that, and he didn't. But I think he's just like very flaky, honestly, and it's just like so over the place. And I think that like the vacation to like Hawaii was just very spontaneous, but yes, he had to like plan it somewhat to at least make sure he has the money to afford the vacation to Hawaii or something. But like yeah, no, so that's why I'm gonna have to like try to like go to bed earlier and then wake up earlier than like usual, so that like I can be at work by earlier than 10 p.m., 10 a.m. I should say, because that's when I usually get home and get to work. But like yeah, so I'm gonna have to like try to do that. That means like now that I can't like grind the 4 hours of Fortnite Battle Royale as I would like to usually. So maybe it's just like my Fortnite grinding would have to like be put on hold until then, until things get like mellow out. And then also yeah. So and production is going to be ramp up of like a new product line that we had ramp up before. In order to like meet the demand, they need me to come in on like Saturdays at like assembly to like run the pick and place machine, work in assembly like I used to before. And because I'm working in assembly on Saturdays to do the pick and place things, I'm not getting jobs that they need by Monday, so I'm coming in on Sundays to like get those jobs. But yeah, but like I said, if that's the case for all future Sundays that I'm working, but I'm in the stock room, I can then still do just Alchemy while quote unquote working as well too. That's my week. John Brockman, other than like just 7, how are you doing? Elaborate.
I'm doing just fine. There's nothing new to report. No changes. My life is rather samey.
It's yeah, Zaya. I was like seeing your photos on like Facebook while you were in Tulsa last week. That was like really cool. And was it, yeah.
What was
Anything
it?
else? Anything else that like happened there?
That's about it. It's a pretty awesome air and space museum. I was able to land the space shuttle a couple times.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
I'm
And
guessing
I
that was a simulator.
it was a simulator what we got. It'd be pretty awesome if I got to do it for real. No, I'm just kidding. And then I got this from their gift shop, so I'm gonna have astronauts sign this.
Nice.
Nice.
So, yeah, I guess I'm still a kid, I guess.
It's totally fine. Listen, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did say that to my boss at my gas station job one time. Yeah, I did not care for that gas station job. It's like it was a job, it's what I can do, and it was just like to make extra money. I didn't really need it because like I just had to pay $300 for rent to my dad because I still live in the house, and like I wish I could have that arrangement again. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Even if I just move in with my dad and my stepmom now, don't know if like he would be keen on that. Honestly, if I had to have no other options, then sure. Then like or the special circumstances that happen, then maybe. But like it's like no, he's not gonna like let me move in just so I can have like cheap rent. I doubt. I really don't. Because me and my brothers did not leave our dad's house. He just sold it, so he forced us to leave the house. Honestly. Let's catch up with the chat. Let's see. It's like welcome in, Jexy. I'm glad to see you here. Jexy is a friend of mine from various like streaming communities as well, like Linquin's community and like other places as well. And she's on and on about like magical girls stuff because she watched a lot of that stuff. So yeah, what has happened in this past week or so that like that anyone's been following it up on? If like
I haven't actually been following it, but I know that Donald Trump has been in the news a lot.
Yeah, he's in court.
Yep.
Taylor Swift dropped a new album apparently.
okay, I mean I know of like some tourist songs. I'm sure they're like good stuff, but I haven't like I don't listen to music or music. Well, I don't listen to new music that often. So it's just like if like artists like drops a new music, it has to be an artist I already love and like it's like oh Alice in Chains dropped a new album. Okay, I'll check that out.
Pearl Jam.
Oh, Pearl Jam, yeah, no, actually, yeah, that would like take a new Pearl Jam album as well too. So like,
What other white bands can I name?
Avril Lavigne.
Yep, that's not a band. That's a singer.
well, she has a band.
Now if you said Joan Jett and the Runaways, you know.
Right, because just Joan Jett is like that's just like her, but Joan Jett and the Runaways that includes the band as well. Kind of like with Bruce Springsteen, is Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band as well too.
Oh.
Who's this Donald Trump person exactly? Someone we should not like paying attention to at all, but like politically.
But 70 million Nazis love him.
Well, yeah, there's that. Yes, exactly. I have been catching up a bit on my political politics or news podcasts and in this past week, and yeah, it's like the current trial in New York is because of the hush money payments that like he paid to Stormy Daniels. The reason why it's a crime because like he used his like campaign finances to do so, and like if he wrote it off as a business expense as well too, and that break campaign finance laws. This is like from the New York District Attorney, who it was a bit of a stretch to try to make it a federal crime, so that's like it's like make it so that like no, it's more important. I'm sure there's Legal Eagle has covered this like trial quite a bit, so I bet you can find like hush money payments to Stormy Daniels because like this is the money that Michael Cohen like gave to Stormy Daniels for like being quiet about their affair and that sort of thing too, and So so that's it happening. Did I just saw this on the news? I didn't even follow up on it. Did someone lit themselves on fire outside
Yeah,
of
I
Trump?
just saw that. Somebody lit themselves on fire outside the Trump
Yeah,
trial.
that's crazy. Apparently, he was either mentally ill or he was an anarchist. I don't even think he was even an anarchist. I think he was just
I don't trust it. The news is reporting that he's an anarchist. I don't trust the news.
yeah, because I know they'll try to they'll
I
try to
need more details to know if he's an anarchist or not.
based on what I've heard on the internet, some of it from Dusty, some of it from just like around the grapevine, is apparently he didn't have like particularly high views on either side.
Okay.
He was just like I guess something I don't know.
Well, there was it's kind of interesting because like there was like another like a self emulation or like someone like light themselves on fire in protest, and there was the Air Force
Yeah,
officer
that was
or Air Force enlisted man Aaron Bushnell, but that one I was familiar with because no, that's been like a form of protest that's happened before, and there've been times that it happened before. Like there was famously a monk protesting the Vietnam War that lit themselves on fire. But I know where that case is like, no, Aaron Bushnell took drastic actions, but he was clear of mind and knew what he was doing and decided that the only way to like give attention to like the genocide happening in Gaza is to like protest it by like taking the one of the most extreme acts of you can take to like bring attention to it. But like no, the credit. I say more credit to him. I mean, I don't. It's kind of like he decided to do that, so it's like I'm not going to prevent someone from doing that if like they were clear on doing that. I'm not saying that I'm in favor of more people doing that as well, but like
Nogi was a mentally unstable veteran. Nogi, he was mentally ill.
yeah, that's a lot of like yeah, and that's the thing. Is just like because part of the reason this is why media is selling that as well too, but also some people who just like are telling themselves that he had to he quote had to be mentally ill because they can't imagine someone bringing themselves to do that or like protest or anything like that. But like
And
yeah.
that's people do all kinds of shit when they're desperate. What do you mean people can't bring themselves to what? Okay.
Self mutilation or like
I mean,
because
it's not something I would probably do, but
I personally
People
I
do it.
think
yeah.
people do it. I mean, it's like for me because I financially support so many people. It's part of why that like even though I want to, or for my imposter syndrome voice in my head to tell me, no, you should be out there and protesting for the Black Lives Matter sort of riots and protests and stuff like that in order to be a true activist as well too. Uh, I concern myself with like if I get jail time and then would that affect my employment as well too because I do financially support so many people. So that's and like I don't want to like leave the people that like I love to like left behind that sort of thing too. So I don't know if I could. So let alone even though I financially support like 4 or 5, 6 people, that's why I wouldn't do it myself. But I don't know if I could bring myself to like do that either because of like I don't like I would miss the people that like I will leave behind and like I will make them really sad if I leave them behind. So that's why I don't know I wouldn't do it. But like maybe Aaron Bushnell thought them like he I think he didn't even set a will, so he did set his all of his affairs into order before he took his action. So
Yeah.
yeah. Catching up the chat. Hey, Kira. And yes, I did see that message in Discord. I was about to like say, hey, we're social justice on like now, and you're BRB because of the phone. I haven't read your message anyway because as you can see, I'm busy because like
People are chatting.
good thing the Good thing you know that like he's popular in Nazis. Otherwise, he might be able to like win an election and get like a lot of power in business or something like that. And at least with all the other like legal troubles that like Trump is having, he might not be able to practice business in like New York if like that trial, which I think is a civil trial, goes that way too. Because we not that everyone's here is surprised about like Trump lying about various things. No, he lied about like various things, like if like how valuable some of his assets were, that to get like
he overplayed them to banks and underplayed them to the IRS.
There was something else that happened this week too. Guess.
No idea.
OJ Simpson died.
Oh right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Go towards the light, OJ.
Okay.
And yes, this black guy does think he was guilty. Next.
A lot of people do.
My understanding is that everybody did, but they were just pleased that the system finally worked.
Yes.
Was broken on behalf of a black man.
Jumbo Glory. I feel the same way about Bush now. I feel that like about you maxing out the credit cards. I don't think you should do that. I am glad that the statement / help is being done, and I'm proud of it. Yeah. Macwell Arson, the guy who lit himself on fire for Trump, posted a manifesto. If you want to read about it, okay, maybe I'll right click on that link and it's a manifesto, so I'm not going to read it on here. But like, so he has a statement of like why he like lit himself on trials.
He's saying that his statement is basically, we are victims of a totalitarian con, and our own government, along with many of their allies, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup.
Okay.
So
hey,
far.
Jojo P. I need to like learn more about like this person, whether or not like it's like is he a Trumper that's doing this? Is he like
no, he's saying that crypto is a Ponzi scheme, that the world banks are all involved with it.
So he's kind of like one of these like this guy like really gives off, and I'm gonna be really. This is gonna sound a bit offensive, but this guy gives off some serious like autism vibes for some reason.
He might have done a deep dive into something and convinced himself of something weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Jim J once said, so like it sounds like he like lost all of his money in like cryptocurrency scam, and feels like that like there's nothing else. So he kind of was planning to take his own life, but he decided to like take his own life in a spectacular way to get attention as well too. So, which you know what, the kind of moving kind of like with all the other kind of people that like leave behind a manifesto and stuff like that, they want to.
No, I think this guy is actually a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, that's what I got
into. He's going into talking about how actor Rob Lowe, who was supporting Dukakis, he talks about Bill Clinton's speech in the 1988 DNC. He just roasted Dukakis. We now know Rob Lowe, who was a supporter of Dukakis, was a victim of a teen sex blackmail operation at the DNC that year. Since we know Clinton is a close associate with teen sex blackmail artist Jeffrey Epstein, and on and on.
Yeah, sounds like some guy who spent too much time on the internet.
Again,
down some really dangerous paths, I guess. Like usually me, like I'll like sometimes some weekends when I'm like stoned and got nothing to do, like I would sometimes like go down like a unsolved mystery rabbit hole and stuff like that. But that's as far as it got.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to fall down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of fall down a rabbit hole that led me towards like anarchism and stuff like that, and that's how I became the queer communist I am now. But like my younger brother, you can say like fell down a rabbit hole, and how he became a Gamergator, and he still is Gamergator, even though it's like I don't think he has it in his Twitter profile.
Oh my god, he's using The Simpsons as evidence.
I'm at work, so I can't drink something. Then again, I had actually plenty of alcohol, not last night, but the night before. So it's not like I drank a lot, but I drank enough to get like buzz, honestly. Then just stop there.
Why is Stanley Kubrick's comedy about mutually assured destruction called Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb? Because he was a cocky secret fascist who was getting us to stop worrying and love the bomb. What the hell? Why didn't he make Clockwork Orange? So rejoice at ultraviolet. Jesus Christ. No.
No. You can say a lot about Stanley Kubrick that he crawled his own asshole and stayed there as well too. But unlike Zack Snyder, Stanley Kubrick at least has something to say and was saying something with like a Clockwork Orange. You can at least give him that. So
I do sometimes wonder when people like get to that point in their lives, like what was going, like how do they end up going down that path that they end up going down?
Well, we're all designed, our brains are pattern-seeking machines. It's why we get hooked on gambling so easily, because there's no pattern. But some people, the pattern-seeking is just a little bit too strong, and they see patterns that aren't there.
Yeah.
It's pareidolia with all of reality. Where pareidolia is when you see shapes in things that don't have shapes, or faces and things like that.
Right. It's kind of like how the electrical plug of just those two versions
looks like a face.
Then,
or clouds can be shaped like things. And
yeah, and just like as we said before about like conspiracy theories, it's like one thing is just like even the people that like either are atheists, agnostics, or like nuns, like no religious affiliations, there's still dogma that they like to believe in, and they like to feel and that dogma can be like into like conspiracy theories, something like that. They just believe it to be true, so it must be true because they believe it to be true. But also it's that comforting sense of like they have the secret knowledge as well too, so they take comfort in that in a chaotic world that like randomly is just here and like doesn't give a crap about you. So
Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
Oh no, Kirok, I'll answer that. JBJ's an anarchist like me, and like probably further to the left than me, as in some cases as well too. And yes, Kirok, I sometimes drink, but I don't drink a lot. And most times I don't drink. Actually, it's expensive to like have alcohol, honestly. So I just like I think that's not expensive. I'm like,
well, the thing is, it doesn't sound like he's anti-capitalism so much as he thinks it's a conspiracy by governments and bank owners.
Yeah.
So if we read through that entire thing, there is probably hints that it's about the Jews somehow.
Because
this shit always comes back to Jews.
Yeah, exactly. So... Hey, maybe he calls himself an anarchist. There was the guy that assassinated the president that he called himself an anarchist as well too. So it's just like, but like I think even like people that are around him, like even Emma Goldman or others, or Emma Goldman knew people who was around him, said that person was a interesting fella, to say the least. It's Kirok, it's interesting how you say you're pro-capitalism, yet you also have, like, in my Twitch chat before, call yourself a socialist. I'm trying to figure that out.
He's a socio-capitalist. if that's even a thing.
Yeah. Because that could be one of the topics. How can like a small business, someone who's like pro-capitalist and wants to like own a small business, be a socialist as well? Unless it's like Bernie Sanders kind of socialism, a social democracy, but that's like that's people mistaking social democracy for democratic socialism, and
I mean, democratic socialism did used to be socialist, but then World War I happened, and the leaders ratted out. Decided to support the war instead of doing socialism.
Yeah, K-Rock. Jamie J is my friend and also mod on like Twitch Slidey5D1. So yeah, same person, and gay and a furry. He's so Kirok, if you are anti-government, which like we have that conversation before, so it's like you can be anti-state, which is what which anarchists are, and not just anarchists. There are other libertarian socialists that like don't even identify anarchists, but are like stateless, like a socialist or libertarian socialist, like autonomous Marxists. Many indigenous like groups don't call themselves anarchists, but like they kind of basically practice like without the state and like governance by like either councils or like with consensus decision making process, like going to people like that Joey Dishes Heretic explained. The Zapatistas in like Chiapas, Mexico, they perform their governance very much like a anarchist or libertarian socialism, but I don't know if they call themselves anarchists at all. And they sell good coffee though. So even Alex Jones said they may be communists, but they sell real good coffee. So yeah, but like yeah. It's kind of interesting that you were against all governments as well. Oh, hey, did you check out the Decon Cons videos I wanted to talk about the other day? Oh, no, wait. You were, Decon Cons, our comrade Captain Andy's been on the show a couple of times. So really cool. I don't know if he's made a new video recently, Comms, which is short for Deconstruct Communications. But there was like I've been failing to like neglect.
Looks like his most recent video was a year ago, and he only has 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, let's say. But I haven't seen his last video all the way through the sunk cost fallacy. But I think that is very important as well too. But all these other videos, like what is communications, knowing your left from your right, politically knowing your left from right, and like knowing from left and right, the labels. Secondary channels just talked about like political science. Oh, he has another channel and communications. Oh yeah, we're talking about the comms. Well, it's like his other channel, Captain Andy, just like a collection of like his like vlogs, some of his like vegan recipes, or some of his like music, because he does like the pretty good like folk music, I should say. And also when he was just like doing like some video responses to like anti-feminists and just like dickweeds and like dipshits, honestly, on YouTube, and about other pretty stuff, which is how I know Captain Andy from like the small feminist YouTube like feminist group. It's like, hey, hello, Metro, how you doing? And I bet like I don't know if Captain Andy's been busy or not. I know that feeling of being busy. And anti-government in our current state as well too. Yeah, there is many criticisms to have about the current government as well. But yeah. Where to go? So I guess that's a conversation that I wanted to bring up. Is it possible to have like communism without a state?
Yes. I mean, that's what your family is.
I'm
generally.
not too averse communism like that to offer an opinion.
That's okay.
And of course, so-called primitive communism. You had stateless societies.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know because like Star Trek, because like I mean, I kind of still do. I don't know. Like I'm not a statist, but I don't know. Not really necessarily.
You would need methods for organizing and moving materials around, and getting food from where it is to where it needs to be, things like that. Even if we did a lot of degrowth, which I'm not sure we need to do.
That Saint Andrew, or the YouTuber Andrew on his channel Andrew, has made some videos and like he argues for some degrowth as well too. I have to like he talked about it on like It Can Happen Here, and like I probably should watch his like videos on that as well. So I'll be willing to listen to your arguments on degrowth though, but I think I can agree with him, like at least stop the growth in some ways, or like basically like not every country can be, or society on this planet can be as like developed or advanced as the United States of America, and like having like everyone have like that kind of like a life may not be sustainable with the limited resources on our planet as well too. So I think there's not that like we have to all go all the way back to like a hunter gatherer times. No, fuck that. No, which is why I don't agree with Dark Primitives.
On the other hand, I think if we ever did switch over to communism, we would eliminate a lot of the bullshit jobs. There would be no more corporate lawyers. There would be no more health insurance or anybody managing health insurance, things like that. And according to David Graeber, if his research is right, if half to 2/3 of our economy is dedicated to bullshit, then
finance, for example,
then we could absolutely, just increase the, useful work that people are doing, or just switch down to a 4-hour work week.
So I don't mind working. I mean, right now, like I'm building a space station trust. That's what these three little white poles are. So I don't mind working. It's just I wish I could do a job that I enjoy. Like, for example, like I wouldn't mind working as a tour guide at the museum I just came from. Like that.
And also, without capitalism driving things, we wouldn't have the inefficient use of resources that stems from the boom and bust cycle. Overproduction, then loss of resources to the recessions. I mean, so I don't know. I think right now it may be that we wouldn't need degrowth. It's just that the natural consequences of moving away into a communist system would achieve the same consequences, the same results as proposed degrowth, just because we would cut out the capitalism and the bullshit that it causes.
Yeah.
So, but can we have? I think we need to recognize the difference between a state and a government.
Yeah.
Because like in the UK, right? They have the head of state and the head of government are two separate people. The head of state is King Charles III. The head of government is the Prime Minister. But the thing is, we talk about state interests and things like that, and I think a lot of that is just in-group, out-group factionalism, but at the national level. So it's hard to say how big an organization you can get, how big a community you can have, and have some method of regulation and accountability, and not have some sort of state, because we've never tried it.
True. That's what like many liberals hang up is about like anarchism, is like how feasible it is, like at the scale of the United States of America, which is like, why does it have to be feasible at the scale of the United States of America with 380 million people? How about we just break the United States of America apart in like a separate different like parts as well too, like Free Cascadia, something like that. The idea just like so I don't know how anarchism can like work on the scale of the United States of America. I can still see that being possible, but I will think that like be more power to like local governments as well too, local organizations like city councils, counties, as like not using the same borders necessarily, but like using the same groups of people. I can see like Freeze Cascadia, like the states kind of like occupy the Cascade Mountains in the Pacific Northwest and something like that. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, that kind of region. I can see that one working out. And actually, when I was trying to figure out whose land I was on, like the Doom Watch, there was another kind of like, there's like a collection of different like tribes all across the West Coast. I forgot exactly what they're called, but it's just like, it's not
Chumash?
just. No, it's not that. Coast of Silica or something like that.
I totally love the world you're trying to paint. It's like being in like a Star Trek society.
I mean, the thing though the issue I have with the idea of breaking it up into smaller units is because, like, there's a reason a lot of nations have wealth, and it's because they have access to the sea.
Yeah.
And if you broke things apart, then the Midwest could end up just a poverty-stricken nightmare.
I guess so, yeah. That is a risk.
So, I mean, I think you can have organizational structures, local and then state, or not state, but, larger communities, and then larger communities than that, and then finally an overarching structure without having hierarchy. Yeah. That would not be people having authority over one another, but just in a way to arrange and communicate and organize the different levels of operation.
Oh, I think that is like an interesting point, J. Nationalism in your mind is like identity, not a government system. I do agree with that, honestly.
Yeah, and I think it is I think that it's an important distinction. I don't think that is just semantics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because like people do really identify as like, I'm a proud American, as it were.
But I do think that nationalism.
Yeah.
But I do think that nationalism gets built into the state. Nationalism plus government makes state, I think, is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely like states do weaponize like nationalist pride or patriotism as a word too, and do it for like recruitment and all that. Even back in like the turn of the century, the Goldman had an essay on that as how they weaponize patriotism for recruitment and that sort of thing too. Because like when you get those ties into people and stuff like that, it's like really strong that like they'll argue that like, hey, well, people fought and died for your rights to like for freedom of speech in this country.
That's why you must never use it.
Some people are being punished for using their freedom of speech if they're like saying things that like the establishment hates, like this. As many like pro-Palestine protesters have been, some of us have been shut down. Like literally, they grab the microphone and like they shut it down and arrest people for it.
Yeah. Actually, I think geography should still be a consideration, but we have to do it very differently. Because right now, states are largely organized around, not in the U.S. state, but nation states, are organized around difficult to cross boundaries. Yeah. Rivers and mountain systems, for the most part. But what that means is that you end up with conflicts over shared natural resources. Within the mountains, you'd have ores and stone, and of course rivers. You're sharing watershed, and so we could drastically rearrange like the U.S. into dozens of states, where they're organized around a watershed just to get rid of that one problem. Like out west, they have the problem of the Colorado River. Yeah. They are using more water than actually exists. And they have done since the very beginning. The Interstate Compact. And so if you changed it, then instead of the different states, which have their own smaller national identities within the nation of the U.S., they compete for the use of that water. And if they were all organized in a different way, then they wouldn't be competing, and you could get a better... a more economical and useful management of the water system.
And I agree, J. Is like geography is a one factor, but like I don't see it. Maybe it's idealistic for me to think that like I don't see it as impossible for different like government organized like collections of people or like syndications or syndicates as well to like not be able to share one geographic. As many tribes have like indigenous people like have, and yet even like when each tribe they have their own identity and their own culture or something like that. If I remember correctly from Dawn of Everything, that like there'll be elk tribes and like bear tribes and then like owl tribes and stuff like that. So like if you were
slightly different, going back to quote unquote primitive, you would have multiple communities sharing space. It's just that because they were using the space very differently, Some were focused more on hunting gathering, and therefore they occupied more heavily wooded areas. Some were practicing a specific kind of agriculture that required a specific kind of land, and therefore they only occupied that land. Things like that. So the problem now, of course, is that everything is much more uniform in terms of what we can do and how we can use resources. On the other, but that's actually a good thing, because it means we could theoretically be able to do so very efficiently. But I don't really like the idea of having separate communities sharing a space with separate government structures, because that sounds more like the post-apocalyptic nightmare that is Ayn Rand's worldview, where you have private police, and what happens if different people are subscribed to different cops?
Well, I live in that world.
I do see some communities of identity, just either kind of intentionally forming communities of their own, or unintentionally forming communities of their own, black and queer, anarchist collectives and that sort of thing too, because there is something about that shared identity as well too, with the systems and pressures that we have now.
I'm certainly don't object to communities with shared identities.
Same thing, though.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Exactly.
But definitely don't object to that. I just don't like the idea of different governments.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have governments with different functions. Like you could have, sort of like a bureau system. It's like, this is dedicated to managing the trade unions and disputes within those things. This is dedicated to resource management, and it has to interact with the trade unions, and so that we can get things where they need to be. But that's a different idea than, I'm not sure what Jamie was. Oh, I see. She actually wrote it. You can have communes built around land and syndicates built around labor, black, queer, anarchist collectives built around their identity, and move between them as needed.
Move between them as needed. I see. Yeah.
I think we might kind of be suggesting the same thing, where it's it's not that they govern different communities of people, but that they govern different aspects of social.
But that movement between them as needed is something that I think is also important too.
Yeah. So the communes are built around land use. The syndicates are built around labor use. And, those collectives, it sounds like, they're built around social interactions. Wouldn't be in favor of a state that became a separatist. No. In much the same way that the Civil War had to be fought, because if anybody can just move away from the thing whenever they decide that they lost the vote, or they don't like what the community has decided, then everything will splinter, and I think we'll just end up right back where we started.
We should have fought the Civil War. Sure, I agree.
But no, it's like movement as needed. It's important as because most along the anchors of principle by freedom of association, which also means freedom to dissociate as well to whoever didn't want to associate with for whatever reason, and hopefully it's not like bigoted racist reasons, of course.
But at the same time, it's like, what if there is an incredibly vital resource? Something that allows great degrowth, well, like coltan in Central Africa. That's necessary for computers. Computers would be vital, absolutely vital, for any sort of organization to make sure that resources are distributed equitably across the globe. And if that Central African nation or region, wherever it's located, decided suddenly, you know what, we own this vital resource, so we're going to go separate, and we are going to be Wakanda, and we're going to be richer than everyone. I mean, yes, they've been colonized. They still are. They've been treated horribly for centuries. And I don't approve of it when the Jews are doing it in Israel, the Zionists, I should say. I wouldn't approve of any other group decolonizing and then reversing the process. The colonialism is wrong, even if you have suffered wrong in the past.
That's why I'm not really one of those people who are like that's why I'm not really a black nationalist, because it's the same thing as, in some ways, a white nationalist. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, Mirthral. The U.S., if the U.S. is still around, they definitely would.
Yes. Sounds like y'all need some freedom.
Freedom is the only way, yeah.
Freedom's just another word for here comes the U.S.
Just nothing left to lose, nothing. Okay, I'll stop.
I mean, the U.S. has to spread democracy, but at least I was told that's what they were doing.
What's democracy though? Because back then, when everyone used to say that, this was like after 9/11, it was like,
yeah.
Are we gonna bring the Iraqis the glory of Britney Spears, Mariah Carey, and Pepsi?
That's certainly what some people feared, though.
Democracy means that the proper people, that the people get to vote on which group of elites are in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're going to spread democracy, freedom, and I'm in my mind I'm picturing just Britney Spears with Pepsi just coming in on a winged horse freeing the Iraqis or whatever.
Yes, managed democracy. Yeah, that's the important thing. What we really spread was not democracy; it was neoliberalism, and even though, I say, a joke that we're bringing Pepsi, Mariah Carey, and Britney Spears to Iraq, and something like that. We did kind of denationalize a lot of the services the Iraq people shared. I mean, I'm sure there's many questions to have about the government of the Iraqis as well too. But that's
Saddam Hussein was a properly obedient dictator, a client of the U.S., but he wasn't as obedient as we would have liked.
Yeah. Sounds like you need a good old-fashioned American freedom, America. Fuck yeah! Burst into somewhere, guns blazing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was quoting Team America World, please. And yet, my younger brother does say his politics in 3 words is America. Fuck yeah.
I have to still watch that movie to see how just cringe it is.
It's probably very cringe. It's made by the same guys who make South Park.
Okay.
And that hasn't aged well, and neither have they.
What's their politics?
They're right wing. They're Republicans.
They never change.
I thought they were libertarians or something.
That's what they call themselves.
Claim to be libertarians. So if they do claim themselves to be libertarians, remember they're Americans. So if the Americans, when claiming about the libertarians, tread very lightly. They're probably like James J said, right-wing libertarians.
But I think that they were juvenile libertarians when they were younger. But then South Park became super successful and went on for 20 years or some shit. And so they got rich. They made a lot of money, and now they are Rand Paul style libertarians.
Yep.
I see.
Yeah. It's. I mean, South Park had some funny moments, and like Jack Morphin said on the show, when they were attacking power as well too.
Oh dear. My internet fuck up? Okay.
Yeah, I liked South Park.
In the early years, they attacked everyone.
Yeah.
And they had some pretty biting satires. I remember after the 2000 election, that fiasco in Florida and so on, they turned around and within a few days had produced an episode just viciously mocking the complete failure of the U.S. election system.
Mm-hmm.
By, having an election in the kindergarten class for class president.
Yeah.
It was.
I remember that episode.
Yeah. absent kids count.
Florida, and I was alive for the 2000 election. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. I mean, I know there was the whole like it came down to us as a state, but and it was
well, the thing is that Florida had a somewhat confusing ballot.
Yeah, it did.
That made it possible to vote for the wrong person.
Many people accidentally voted for Pat Buchanan when they wanted to vote for Gore.
Yeah. And they were saying, like, yeah, like a bunch of Jewish voters are going to vote for the anti-Semite Pat Robertson. No. Or Pat Buchanan.
Yeah. They're very different people. Still terrible people, though.
Yep.
Was it the one who talked about our country's in a culture war just as bad as the Cold War? Or something?
That was Pat Robertson.
No, I think that was Pat Buchanan.
Well, yeah, he did. He was very he was also very anti-immigration as well too.
The culture war is just as bad. Yeah, because all those times those gay folks had nukes pointed at us. Maybe that would have been
the worst fiasco for Florida though was not the confusing ballots and the dangling chads though. It was more that Al Gore and his lawyers did not argue the case very effectively. If they had argued for a recount across the entire state, then even the right-wing Supreme Court... Did I freeze again? Oh, no. Isaiah was just sitting very still.
Okay. I'm not on camera, so it's hard for you to know if, go ahead.
Yeah. But if he'd gone for the entire state, then he probably would have gotten the recount and probably would have won. As it is, he only asked for recounts in select areas where he thought it would get him votes. And so that made his argument less effective. It's like, why do you need to recount just in, not in South Beach, but, in the Haitian barrio.
As my girl always said, why you gotta have to make things so complicated?
There was also Roger Stone led a riot at one of the counts. I forgot the name of this place, but that was I think spurred for the case to go to the Supreme Court, and that's where it's 5 out of 9 justices decided who was our president as well too, including Anthony Scalia.
Yep.
And all the liberals just went along with it because it was the system working as intended, which is not how liberals think it is. They just will go with what the system says that's what it is, and just
and if you don't like the results the system produces, then you have to go through the system to change how the system works.
And even liberals, even Jacob, a patron of Steve Shives, says, for example, of the Electoral College, to try to change the Electoral College, it will take too long to do so because that needs a constitutional amendment to do that, and you need 38 states to have their own constitutional assemblies to ratify or say we want to make this constitutional amendment, and then have to have the constitutional assembly nationally in order to get that to happen. And Jacob says that takes too long. It takes too much work. So we'll just have to accept the system as it is, and that's why I get frustrated with liberals because it takes too long, it's too much effort, too much work to change the things within the system. They're just they're just going to settle for the system as well too, and then browbeat us to vote for the lesser two evils.
But I have a question. I wonder if some of the election happened because of what happened to Elian Gonzalez.
No, I think, no, I think it was just that Clinton had the incumbency advantage. Al Gore did not, and he didn't have Clinton's charisma. And the Republican Party had finally finished its changeover from the somewhat libertarian party to the entirely racist party.
All right.
Well, racist and libertarian party. It took 25 years from Nixon implementing the Southern Strategy, and then in the midterm elections, 94, is when we finally got what's his name, Newt Gingrich.
Yeah,
his contract with America, and notably, Reagan came in, and he was so much better at the Southern strategy than Nixon was. He needed a new word to replace schmur lovers, so he's the one who started spamming liberal. The 1980 Republican Party platform used the word liberal and liberals and liberalism over and over again in negative connotations. And they did that again in 84, 88, 92, 96, 2000, and then they stopped. Because they no longer needed to send that message. Liberal had become the new schmur lover.
I'm glad I'm not a conservative. I don't know.
So I remember Andrew read that they say they hate the right and really hate the left. So the South African yeah, because like they took their comedy and started like being down with it too, and just like became like the anti-SJWs, kind of like a lot of, and some of these people like another asshole of a person that is also like says, I never changed, I'm always like left wing. And Corolla, okay, you were liberal in the 90s and you were against the right wing of the Republicans then as well too, but if you have not changed your politics since the 90s.
Well, the thing is, he wasn't really left wing. Of course, he was a Democrat, but even for the Democrats, he was on the right. Remember the Man Show?
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember that. So.
Bill Maher,
Bill Maher's another good example. Because he can be conservative too, even for Democrats, but because he was always against the Republicans as well too, he sees himself as like left wing in the American context, and they were established in the American context that the open window so far to the right that fascists and acceptable, look at the party, and that like the only quote left-wing party is like the conservative party, the people that actually want to conserve things as they are, while the party that actually wants change is like the fascist party that wants to change the system to fascism.
Yep.
I have a question. Is Richard Dawkins actually a Christian now?
No. He's a cultural Christian, and whatever the hell that means.
What the fuck does that
mean?
No,
that's sort of like a secular Jew.
Yes, exactly.
He's always said that. He said that for years, that he's a cultural Christian in the same way that a secular Jew is culturally Jewish. Meaning that even though he doesn't believe in God, he doesn't worship anything, he still recognizes the holidays. He's still immersed in the culture that was so immersed in Christianity. So he probably still celebrates Christmas with his family, even though he doesn't think Jesus was anything special.
Yeah, Christian
atheist is a good way to put it.
Yeah, because it's not like a atheist that still thinks that like the secular teachings or like something that like the good teachings from the Bible, you can pick and choose and like that, or like the Jesus Christ has like the role model or something like that is not something worth following. That's only those people do. No, this is like Christian atheist says, I do not believe in God, but there must be a God. This God is Jehovah.
Yeah. It's sort of like how an atheist coming out of Iran is going to have, different beliefs and attitudes than an atheist coming out of London.
True.
See you around, Mithril.
See you around, Mithril. Great to see you here. At least we shit on like the people like Richard Dawkins and like the UK and the British Royal Crown for you. They make it still feel like home for you here.
Remember, Charles III is going to die very soon. I've seen his hands.
I mean, he did get like a treat for like a prostate cancer or something like that. So there's that as well too.
Well, the puppy hands are usually a sign of heart failure. I think in his case it's a different condition, so he's probably not going to have a heart attack anytime soon. Yeah, but if he does, he can treat it with the homeopathy he loves so much.
Is he just going to like avoid old doctors like suggestions and just eat nothing but wheatgrass like Steve Jobs believed in?
I actually have no idea. He might do actual medicine, but he'll also supplement it definitely with stuff that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, same here, Joe and Trippy. Like if I would enjoy like Christmas or celebrate Christmas, it'd be in a more secular way. But like even there, I just like Christmas is just gift giving day, and recently, I mean, it's like especially once my brothers and I moved into our small apartment. It's 3 bedrooms, so we each have our own bedroom and have our own private space. So there's that. But like we have so little room, we don't put up a Christmas tree. why bother? Especially since like we all hate doing chores anyway. The kitchen is the proof of that. That like or like the table is proof of that for sure. It's like full of crap and like unopened mail and like unput away stuff we sure don't know where to put.
I love putting up a Christmas tree, but then again, maybe I've been watching too much of the Hallmark Channel.
Or maybe you don't mind like taking down the Christmas tree and the Christmas directions, but we don't put up the Christmas directions because we hate that chore of like have to take it down by like New Year's at least as well too.
I don't know. Like Christmas, just to me, it's like a '90s holiday kind of a thing. I don't know. Maybe you can blame Mariah. I don't know. Maybe it's the opposite.
Maybe because you were a little kid in the 90s.
Yeah, and how like Christmas shit just looked so cooler back then. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I really loved decorating the tree when I was a little kid. And that was back when they had the bulbs, the really big bulbs that would catch on fire.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have some of those.
I think
and we would set up a mom's model train or electric train around the base of the tree, and then I would set up a Matchbox car track to jump over the train.
Oh, I remember the Matchbox car tracks. We did actually set up the whole living room with all those like tracks as well in time. And that was actually a lot of fun. I don't know if we still have those Matchbox cars anymore. I think we did give them away when we moved, and so like but like hey.
See you around, Kirok.
And I go even further. I like Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Mm-hmm. Now that the boomers are finally dying, we are no longer recreating the Christmas from their childhood. We're recreating the Christmas from my childhood.
For Christmas is you.
I'm glad that the only retail I worked was the gas station, not working in the mall, or at a grocery store.
But then again,
I chose the radio station that I was listening to, so I didn't have to like listen to like Christmas music 24/7.
I would say I would rather listen to that kind of a music because at least it's like constant. It's like a constant like stream.
Yeah. I can see how it's very comforting for some people.
Well, it's definitely very comforting for me. Because it's just people are more happy. Everyone's in a festive mood. I don't know.
No, Jordan. I won't hate you for liking like a Christmas music as well too. It's not the music itself, honestly. It's the overplaying.
It's the constant repetition.
Yeah, I get it. I feel like I should be a girl.
No. We should not gentrify like certain musical tastes or anything like that. Interestingly enough, like it's just because of the advertisement. There's apparently a milk cup that's going to like happen in May. The milk industry is sponsoring it. The same people that says that like drink milk 3 times a day, you will get like strong bones or calcium and something like that. But like I think actual health professionals is like there's calcium, but like you can get other things for that calcium. Honestly, the milk industry really just like helps to like milk a lot as well. But anyway, there's a sponsor for a women's only tournament in this happened to be Fortnite. It's because like women make up probably about like approximately like 50% or so, or almost half of like the gaming community as well too. Yet only 5% of the esports. So Milk Cup is trying to change that for it's actually open invitation as well too. So it's just like get your trio. The format is like Fortnite Battle Royale build mode trios. So like if you get your team together, sign up for it and like play on the NA Central server in Fortnite and like play at this time. I'm sure they'll have some other instructions for you to play. But like get your girls together to like play, and there you go. They're trying to like basically get more women into like esports and like which I want to say good luck with that, not because of like not that women shouldn't play esports, but more because of just esports itself. I don't know how like esports makes money, if you ask me, because like all esports is, and I play Magic the Gathering, I know that the reason why the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour exists is because Wizard Coast puts it on there to sell the new sets as well too, so sell the products as well too.
Money either, I guess they just do. I guess
I think they have big competitions. They have advertising. They bring in sponsors. Mike and people watch it, so they probably do get money from advertising.
It's just like from I guess from like but I do agree with you, James J. Honestly, to get more women to like esports or make esports less full of men, maybe you like make esports less full of misogynists as well too. Which is like, I don't think anyone here was going to disagree with that statement as well too.
Sort of like the question of how to get minorities more involved in atheism. It's like, you want more black people? Stop inviting the fucking Klan.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just call me.
Yeah. Or basically get rid of all the racists. You know, be adamant that you should have people like P.Z. Myers and not people like Richard Carrier.
Yes. Oh god, Richard Carrier, and it's just like, Carrier, please. Yeah, you have a kink. That's cool, but consent with other people if you want to practice that kink.
Mm-hmm. And you should also be honest with your wife about doing that first.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay to have an open marriage. Just make sure your wife knows that you have an open marriage.
There's nothing wrong with being polyamorous as well too. You just like have to make sure your partners understand you are polyamorous before they get into a relationship or before it gets serious as well too. Because if you're, it's because it's one thing to be polyamorous. It's another thing, and this was a guy that was heard doing it, to be just dating two people and the other two people not knowing it. And if it's just dating, that's one thing, and that's between those people as well too. But if you're starting serious relationships with those two people that you're dating and they don't know that like you're also dating them as well too, you be fucking honest. And it's like, if you're polyamorous, it'd be polyamorous, but be upfront with the people you're dating that you're polyamorous as well too. At least I would imagine so.
Basically, whenever you start having sex with someone, they should know that you're having sex with other people.
No, yeah, that part. Yeah, I agree. They don't even have to know the other people as well too. But like, apparently there is a word for like your partner's polyamorous partner that you're not partner to. I got the term for it. Metamor, yes, exactly. And so that you can have like a nice relationship with your metamor, your fellow metamor.
Or you could have no relationship with them whatsoever. You could prefer not to know.
True.
There's lots of different ways to manage relationships, but they all have to involve affirmative consent.
Yeah.
Informed consent.
Yes. Now, like, I'm going off of like best advice that I've heard from like others, and like what I would mention I would want in my relationships essentially, because I haven't had a serious relationship, so like I have no idea. Take that for what it is. But anyway, yeah. Well, Kirok is like left for the stream. It was kind of disappointing because like maybe
he does spark interesting conversations.
Because like last week, my Twitch stream, this is quite telling of Kirok, because we have conversation with him and how he feels like if people are able to work but yet choose not to work and is being a drag on a system as well, or being like exploitative of their partner or something like that, is for example. Because like Kirok, and I told him that this is a very ableist thing to say as well too, because Kirok, if he somehow gets injured somehow and can't be able to work job or any job or something like that, not be able to work, he did say he'd rather just like not live at all.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme.
Yeah, I think that he suffers from the misunderstanding that a lot of able-bodied people do, a lot of able people do, and that they think that, you know, being paralyzed from the waist down or something would be an absolutely intolerable. Being confined to a wheelchair, anything like that. They don't realize those people can and do lead fulfilling lives. Like me, there are lots of jobs I'll never be able to do with my ADHD. Anything with paperwork.
Yeah.
And I can never be a historian or anything requiring that kind of research. But there are other jobs I could do that would still be involved with history. I have a really good memory. I think I would make a really good museum tour guide.
Yeah.
Would you ever be a history teacher?
You have to have a degree in a relevant field for any kind of history teaching. And my degrees are both in chemistry. All I have is a passion for learning what historians have discovered. Yeah. So I'm a history enthusiast, not a historian.
Yeah. I guess honestly, me, I'm enthusiast for a lot of different things, which is how I'm like autodidactic in film media, for instance, as well too. I just watch a lot of YouTube videos that I see my interest. I thought you were a red panda, Jamie, or a fox. But as we established, if you're a furry, you don't have to be just pigeonholed to just be one kind of animal. If you are a furry, you can be like multiple, many things, as like Jamie says. But yeah, so it's kind of was shocking to me to hear Kirok to like say that because like I think that's, like I said, it's terribly ableist to like think that, but like he does like, but it illustrates why even under Star Trek communism or poor scarcity society as well too, he looks at Star Trek and still sees people working and doesn't.
Well, because people will still pursue projects of worth. That's one of the reasons why bullshit jobs are so horrible for people.
Yes.
Because, they're pursuing a project that has no worth.
Yeah.
It's why you hate your boss who says, time to lean, time to clean. You're like, dude, it's just a little bit slow. We're still in the middle of the lunch rush. Cleaning now would serve no purpose.
Yeah. Then like David Gray would talk about like that kind of attitude, because I think he experienced himself as one of his like busing jobs in his like college years or high school years.
Pretty much everyone has, unless they're born to a position of privilege and wealth.
Yeah, when you work retail, work in restaurants as well too, and that's like pretty much the boss, like using the power.
Well said, Joe.
That's a good point, Joe McClory. I was trying to think of the words or something like that, and it did shows pigeonhole, but like I didn't see it's like, oh, talk about furries and pigeons as well.
Yes, don't pigeonhole people without consent.
That too. That thought.
And Jamie can be whatever they want. We support situational fluid furism.
And Kawaka. Yes, I think I did hear that word too. Or Kawaka as well too. The Kawaka is like on certain insects is a combination of asshole and vagina. I think and some animals, like some birds, are like also have only one orifice. So yeah.
Yep.
So
it's common among reptiles and birds.
Yep. And birds will remember that they used to be dragons, dinosaurs.
Yep. And you said they had no choice. I'm not sure what you were referring to there. But if you're talking about the fact that they can't stop themselves from pooping or peeing at the same time, that's because they don't.
They have to do sex in the back door.
Mm. Well, it's
only
both doors.
One hole.
Yep.
It's both doors. That's what Bob Saget said, to which Conan O'Brien said, "What is wrong with you?"
Yep, fish too. Although fish excrete urine through their gills.
True.
That's why the dick fish is so dangerous. There's a tiny parasitic fish in the Amazon River.
Yeah.
That its normal mode of operation is to follow the trail of urea and latch onto and dive into the gills and use its spine to hold itself there and become basically a leech. And it'll do that with your dick. And then you have to get your dick cut off.
I've heard about it, but I don't know if it's called a dick fish.
It's not called a dick fish. It's just I can't remember its actual name.
I'm sure if you like Google Amazon dick fish, then I'm sure that tiny little fish will come up as well. And that's true. The fish lays a bed of eggs onto what the mates excrete the semen to fertilize. And then, as we established before on my stream a week or two ago or something like that, that fish have sex by mutual masturbation.
No, they have sex through separate masturbation. They don't actually have contact.
Which is mutual. That's right. I'm mistaken. Mutual masturbation, I guess. Then. Yep. I guess it can't be still mutual masturbation if you're in the same room.
It's masturbating with a friend, but basically fish reproduce through the soggy cracker method.
Yeah. Also remember, if you're going to masturbate in the room with someone else who's also masturbating, make sure there's consent. Do not pull Lucy K.
Well, if the other person is also masturbating, then it's not Louis C.K. He was the only one doing that.
True. He was the only one doing that in the situation. And yeah, the Jackson is very able. So thinking, to which back to that conversation, the reason why Kirillok it says that work is all he knows, as he said. So it's just, but yet even like several people, how he put it, that the reason why he didn't want to be like that if he's so disabled that he can't work, he doesn't want to like depend on others, to which is ridiculous. As I said, Kirok, you did not, when you go to like the grocery store and buy chicken, you did not kill that chicken.
Yeah, but he's exchanging something of value for that, therefore he's earned it. He's earned the right to stay alive.
Well, he didn't put it like that, but he did said he did pay money for the chicken, and or the people that packaged the chicken and put that on the grocery store shelves is all what that did their job for that chicken to be there as well too. So he just like views it in different ways. Just like is like being dependent on other people. Is that people have to like spoon feed him or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, now alchemist rules of living. Yeah, the equal exchange as well too. Yes, exactly.
The thing is, losing individual capacity can be incredibly humiliating for people. Like no longer being able to wipe your own ass and somebody has to come in and do it for you. A lot of people do find that humiliating, and it just continues being that for them, and they never really acclimate to it. So that loss of agency can be a serious problem for some people. I think that Kirok has bought into a lot of American lies, capitalist lies, liberal lies about earning a living and so on. Which, I mean, that phrase just tells on itself so much. But I think that there would be people like Kirok, in a post-scarcity, communist society, people whose project of worth does involve working a lot. But I think that most people wouldn't. A lot of people would prefer to be able to play.
Yeah. Or just work on their hobbies. But before we go, so I watched this movie last night, which is one of my favorites.
Is that the Matthew Broderick Godzilla?
Yeah, that's the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
It is cheese all the way, but it's so good. It's so stupid, but it's so good.
That's a lot of fish.
Yeah. I'm watching this now. This one.
Is that the movie or the series?
This is the movie. This is
the first one.
The one with the bees.
Here am I.
I like the capacity to drive oneself around very hard to explain and get very uncomfortable sometimes. No, that explains as well too.
The third Psych movie. Psych was a TV show, and after the show ended, it was canceled. They came back and did a couple of movies because they just love working with each other so much. But during the filming of the first movie, or pre-production, Timothy Amundsen had a stroke that left him partially paralyzed. And the third movie has just this kind of heartbreaking, incredibly touching scene, because the car that the guys are driving around in is a student driver car, because reasons. So it has two steering wheels, and gas and brakes on both sides of the car, because the instructor needs to be able to take control of the car sometimes. And so Amundsen, or his character Lassiter, asks if he can sit on the left-hand side so he can pretend that he's still able to drive. And that movie, a big part of that movie was just him discussing what it's like, what is his life going to be if he's not able to work anymore, because he loves being a cop so much. Or translate, Timothy Amundsen loves being an actor so much.
Yeah.
And the answer, of course, is you have your family.
That's what I said. That's why me and Jamie J said to Kirok, don't you have a family? And I know Kirok has a family. Kirok talked to me privately about that sort of thing. That he does have like he also did say that he does have like adult children. He has a granddaughter now that he loves deeply. And it's just like, me and Jamie J point out to Kirok, is it that worthwhile to live? But it's just like, but also as context what she brought up before last when she was a guest, is like it is okay to grieve the loss of
capacity. Yeah, but you still have projects of worth.
Right. That grief should not turn into like shame of being disabled and stuff like that, because there are many people that are disabled. Some were born disabled, and some that I can never not be not disabled. It's like they can't pass as being able-bodied as well too. So it's just like that grief should not turn into shame, which is another key thing.
And of course, it's always possible to move beyond grief.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. But with that, we are out of time.
So Isaiah Taylor, you have anything you want to promote specifically?
Isaiah Taylor is not on camera. There he is.
I forgot about that.
As usual.
No problem.
No, I just I'm almost done with my Guy Bluford cosplay.
Nice.
I don't know who that is.
He was the first African American in space.
Gotcha.
Challenger. Not the one, not the time it blew up, but the very first few flights.
Yep.
JBJ, I saw your comment of my 1988 Godzilla movie is my favorite fetish porno. I don't know what your fetish is, honestly. It's my brain was just like fetish porno. Okay, because
she likes the idea of guys in latex suits fighting and fucking.
This is the 1988 Godzilla.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, and I'm just gonna be like, you do you.
Who doesn't? I don't know. But hey,
question: does Godzilla have a penis or a cloaca? Something to ponder for next week.
Godzilla, the 1988 Godzilla, the Matthew Broderick movie, was like asexual because it reproduced asexually, at least. He just blinks into its head. Yeah,
I thought it was a mutated iguana.
I think so too, as well. It has no need to reproduce it to extract anything.
If the movie had simply been called Kaiju and it was like in the same vein as the Emery Godzilla, it probably would have worked. But it still works. I mean, I don't know. See, it's like, and this is why I don't like fan service, because like I feel like the reaction to that movie, the hatred it got, was just purely fan service, and it's just like it's not that bad.
It was not a monster movie; it's a disaster movie. That's one thing.
Well, yeah, I mean it's goofy and stupid in a lot of areas, but it's not a horrible movie. I mean, at least not to me.
It's a matter of opinion of like the quality of the movie. It's like movie taste, just like musical taste is all subjective as well too. But like but
I think there are some things we can all agree are bad, like anything made by Ben Shapiro.
No.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, you're the only reason you like the movies that Ben Shapiro produces because you agree with him politically about things as well too. That's the only reason, because like you're Team Shapiro as well too. With dry ass pussy like a white Ben Shapiro. Because according to Ben Shapiro's wife, who's a doctor, wet pussy is a medical condition.
Well, I guess technically being healthy is a medical condition. It's just a condition that doesn't require you to go to the doctor.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of more Vora eggplant laying in like 1980 Godzilla than any other Godzilla. The egg laying, yes, that is true. That's happening in Godzilla as well too. And there's Vora is just like I'm not going to kink shame. Vora is something, but I'm not going to kink shame. No, just leave it like that. Not going to yuck someone else's yum.
Benny Shapiro. Yes.
Benny Shapiro now.
That's amazing.
That's that. Every time we talk about, but yes, penny jar. Anyway, so Zato has an Instagram. What was your Instagram that you have now? There's like the Isaiah.
I think it's called Galactic. Let me look.
Because I'm wondering if I follow you.
Galactic Cosplay Crafts.
Galactic Cosplay Crafts. All right.
Okay, crafts. For a second there, I thought you said crabs.
So Galactic Cosplay Crafts. I think that's not. Am I terrible at spelling? I think. Okay, there we go. I think I got it. Yeah. This is it's Instagram. You can drop a follow. That's current project that they use promoting as well too. There's a few other Instagram feeds that SJA has. Oh yeah, you also link ISAJ60. I thought he said crap. Yeah, Galactic Cosplay Crap.
Good, because playing Galactic Cosplay Crabs would probably just be pretending to have an STD in space. So you'd be playing Kirk, or actually more likely Riker.
Yeah, Kirk or Riker. Maybe Kirk and Riker. Those are the two horny ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Although Riker did send Picard to a sex planet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But no, lower decks is where you're probably going to get your crabs.
Yes. I think Galactic Cosplay Crabs is probably something you catch at Science Fest. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Yep, exactly. So I am Summer and Geek. Summer and Geek on all, most of the social medias. Blue Sky. I am on Instagram, but I don't use it. But Blue Sky, Tumblr, co-host. Yes, on Twitter, on X, I'm there. And I'm not Summer and Geek on Facebook, but it's Jonathan Scott if you want to follow me there. And I am on Summer and Geek on YouTube and my Twitch, but I don't know if I'm going to be streaming anytime soon because of my work schedule. Again, I'm going to try to get to bed at 10 p.m. so I can't do late night streaming as well too. I'm going to be working a lot of hours to catch up for my coworker not being here. I have a lot of work to do today, and I'm working today, so I'm probably working today as well too. So I don't know when I'm going to be streaming next. If I'm going to continue to be working on Sundays like this as well too. But if I'm like I said, if I'm working on Sundays in the stock room, then I can be able to still joining the Children's Justice Alchemy in this capacity still. So I don't see the need to change the dates, the time for Justice Alchemy in the near future anytime soon. If those change, let the group know and let the people know in the Discord. We do have a Discord. The link to the Discord is down below. It should be at least.
Yes.
And John Brentman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Dungeons and Debacles. We play D&D as often as we can, but we're all grown-ups, and sometimes we get sick or hurt our backs. So it's not as often as we'd like.
Discord. No, I do not have a Discord. Wait a minute. I do have some to say to those games, but I haven't got to that point where I got it's more of a club than a sword anyway. But no, I don't have a dick sword.
No. Dicks have always been likened to swords, and that's why you get so many puns related to swordplay.
Yes, exactly.
Well, all right. Well, that suddenly became rockets in the 20th century.
Mm-hmm. But we don't have any puns. Well, actually, no shooting, blasting off, I guess. But now we do occasionally compare them to guns.
Yeah.
Especially in the wonderful movie Zardoz. Not a wonderful movie.
Oh, God.
Wonderful movie. Zardoz is what happens when you lock a director in a room with Burt Reynolds and all the cocaine.
That was Sean Connery and
Sean Connery. Yeah. They both look the same. All white people look the same.
Honestly, in the 70s, both look the same. Yeah, you're right.
Anywho, Dungeons and Debacles. A lot of fun.
But Burt Reynolds is still alive.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sean Connery was abusive. Or at least he was not against it.
At least what Burt Reynolds has said, if you met me between 1972 and 1978, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's important to acknowledge when you've fucked up and try to make growth. That's important.
I wouldn't blame him for not remembering things if he did a lot of cocaine those years as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
So did do something. But yeah, all right. We're ending the show. Bert died. He did die this year. Hold on, I gotta be confirmed about that. But yeah, we're ending the show, and we'll confirm next week if.
Yeah, he died. No, he didn't die this year. He died 6 years ago.
Okay, so he's not. He is dead. Okay, I was incorrect about that. He was in All Dogs Go to Heaven.
That movie was fucked up.
big lip alligator moment.
Mm.
Okay. Well,
All
they're
right.
both dead.
Bye-bye, everybody.
They're both the same. Bye-bye, everyone.
Love you guys.
And